Hi, my name is Juan. I'm a visual designer at Google, and I'm from Dominican Republic, especially from a small town in DR where I don't have access to internet. My passion for computer and internet was very, very high. That every day after school, when I get home, I take my CPU and put it in my head and walk more or less 1 mile to connect to this small lab because this was the only location in my town where I can get access to internet. And the first thing that I do when I went to the lab was open googlesearch.com and just find tutorial about how to use Photoshop, how to use the software that people in that time used for design. And I remember that was very fun to me. I'm an immigrant. I remember I moved to United States like 10 years ago, and I can find job in design because first struggle, I can speak English. Even now, probably you need to use subtitles to understand me well because even now I can speak English very well, but I try. As immigrants, when we came from our country to United States, the first idea that we have in mind is just apply in fast food. I remember back 10 years ago, when I moved to Connecticut, I went to multiple fast food places and I never get a job. And my first job experience in the United States was cleaning toilet in a hotel. I really love that job. I never imagined that years later I'm gonna start my first career in design. How I get from working from a hotel, doing housekeeping work, into Google is interesting. It's a crazy and interesting journey. I apply in others design in a studio, and I learned a lot doing draft or rough design for digital agencies. And after a couple of years working on the industry, I just studied by myself using Google search to find how you Photoshop, how you internet, how you freehand, and all the design software. And after that, I remember that a friend suggested me like, hey, I think you should work for Google. You have the potential to work for Google. But at that time, I don't believe that I can work for Google because I never went to college. All the design thing that I know, I learned by myself. She recommended me. I didn't get the job. I didn't pass the second call from the interview process. Year later, the recruiter contacted me and because they think that I could be a good fit for the company. I received an email, hello from Google. And that was really interesting because in the beginning, I thought that was a spam, but I decided to open because I'm curious. And when I read the email where the recruiter say, hey, we believe that now you could be a good fit for the company and we want to have a call with you. Are you still want to work for Google? Of course, I was very nervous. I can't believe that I was reading that email that Google want to have a call with me. I feel very important. And of course, after 10 minutes, after take a deeper breath, I decided to answer the email. And I answered, and the recruiter was very humble. They made me feel important. They was very friendly with me. And this kind of interaction made me feel more confident. Then I moved to the second step of the interview with a visual designer, where that person was asking me questions about how I design, what is my design process. They try to understand how I work. And the next step was go to the office and have an interview in person with 8 people. That was very intimidating to me. Again, especially that I don't speak English, but I prepare myself. I have a problem with my language, but I know that I was good in my design. I feel confident with that. And what I did amazing presentation with a lot of interaction because I want to show them all my potential. And then I received the call that they want to hire me. I really like to share this because sometimes we don't believe that we can go far. And me, that I came from a village or a small town in the Caribbean without internet access and now working for Google is something that made me feel proud.